Howdy folks. Join me, won't you, while Kitty and I read from an old issue of TV Guide. Not too old, this one only comes from August 5th through the 11th of the year 2000. But first I want to say just one thing. To those of you out there who watch my channel, and to those of you who subscribe to me and don't watch my channel, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. It does mean a lot. And the nice comments I get, thank you for that too. And the not so nice comments I sometimes get, thank you for that too. I really do appreciate all of it. I do like doing YouTube. It isn't something I do for money or ever expect to make money doing. I just really like a place to put my videos. And the fact that there are people watching them and enjoying them, thank you for that. And thank you for the nice comments, like I said. Like, for example, when I put my cat video on there, when my beautiful cat, Georgia, passed on, I got some nice comments from there, and I thank you all for your condolences. And like one lady was real nice. She even offered 3 cats that she found in her yard to me as a replacement, because she knew I would be able to, she knew I would love those cats. Be honest, I initially thought I wouldn't be ready for a cat this soon, but when she told me that story, finding 3 stray kittens in her woods, of course I wanted to immediately thought, oh gee, give me one. I'll definitely take care of it. And I'm like, well, 3's probably too many to take care of in my house. It was enough loving 1 cat. Plus the lady who found those cats, her name was Mia. Thank you, Mia. Lives all the way in California, and I'm way over here in Maine, so I don't know how much it costs to mail a cat across the United States, 3,000 miles, but as long as she's adorable as my Georgia, look at that beautiful face. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that real quick. Sorry to bore anybody with that. It's nice to have folks like yourself watching my channel who appreciate and love cats and enjoy my videos. Like the Beetlejuice videos, I got a lot of response from that. I wish I could keep going back there and finding more Beetlejuice related things, but they're gone. If I keep going back there, it's just gonna get boring after a while. It's just a regular town again now. Just a regular New England town again. There's plenty of those where I live. They're actually everywhere. I drove through a bunch of them just to get there. I'll go back once that strike's over, definitely, just to check it out. Or maybe I'll just go back for October to see what it actually looks like when it's Halloween there. Because they were pretending it was Halloween when I went. You like that, cat? So sit back and relax, and we'll read this interview that TV Guide did with Clint Eastwood. Yeah, Clint Eastwood did an interview for TV Guide. Let's see why. It's high noon. The legendary actor-director looks back on his life and career from playing a cowboy in Rawhide to an astronaut in Space Cowboys, and riffs on jazz, family, women, and fidelity. That's right, folks. Let's dive right into the life of Clint Eastwood as it was in the year 2000. So he was only 70 years old then. He's 93 now. Yeah, he's still alive. It's high noon and Clint Eastwood stands in the driveway of the Mission Ranch, an inn and restaurant that he owns in Carmel, California. Eastwood, looking into the sun, is forced into one of his famous squinting stares, the kind he delivered so well in such classic films as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Dirty Harry, and Unforgiven. It's a look that telegraphs a clear message: don't mess with me. I have kids who come up to me, even today, and are disappointed that I don't have a .44 Magnum. Eastwood says in a whispery, sandpapery tones that he does tend to have. I just say, what the hell? If everybody thinks I'm a renegade cop, don't burst their bubble. Let them think what they want. Spend time with Eastwood and it quickly becomes clear that this hard-boiled persona, honed in nearly 60 movies, is as artificial as some of the sets in the early spaghetti westerns that first made him an international star. Eastwood's complexity and thoughtfulness come across during a 5-hour interview. Wow. They interviewed him for 5 hours. This isn't the whole... okay. This must not be the whole thing. Part of it conducted on a veranda overlooking the Pacific, the rest in a hotel conference room where he relaxes and puts his feet up. Oh, isn't that nice? The Pacific one looks nicer. Known as a man of few words in his movies, the self-depreciating Eastwood is surprisingly talkative as he addresses such subjects as jazz, his movies, and the women in his life. There were a lot, I heard, including his current wife. This is as of 2000 anyway. Dina Ruse Eastwood. I might be saying that wrong. I don't know. I pronounce shit wrong all the time. A TV reporter in Salinas, California, and his first wife, Maggie Johnson. He also talks openly about his infamous litigious breakup with actress Sandra Locke and what it's like to age in Hollywood, which he's still doing to this day. Clint Eastwood is an American icon, actor, director, producer, composer, mogul, businessman. He's part owner of Pebble Beach Resort Golf Course on the spectacular Monterey Peninsula, an occasional politician. He was mayor of Carmel, California from 1986 to 1988, only fairly recently a critical darling. His numerous honors include an Oscar for directing 1992's Unforgiven, and the American Film Institute Life Achievement Award and Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award. That's a fucking mouthful, jeez. For the last few months, Eastwood has been busy putting the final touches on his latest movie and 22nd directing effort, Space Cowboys. That was his biggest hit ever. That won 1 million Academy Awards, remember? No. The film, which opened August 4th, tells the exhilarating story of a group of aging test pilots, Eastwood, James Garner, Tommy Lee Jones, and Donald Sutherland. Great cast. Who were passed over by NASA more than 40 years ago and are now sent into space to save the world. So here we go. The interview actually begins now. That was just a little introduction. TV Guide says, and I'll try to change the voices. I can't do a great Eastwood, but I'll give it a shot. TV Guide, hey Clint Eastwood, you've been a cowboy on TV, a cowboy in Italy, and now a cowboy in space. Wow, what are you going to say about that? Clint Eastwood's reply, it's hard to ride a horse out there. These guys are cowboys because they are space pioneers from the 50s like Chuck Yeager. I like playing a mature man. It's not like the old days in Hollywood when actors played 30-year-olds until they dropped. I can't do a great Eastwood, I just realized. Let's start at the beginning, Clint Eastwood. What was your childhood like? This should be interesting.
I was born in the Depression. It was a tough era. People didn't have any money. We traveled from San Francisco to Sacramento to Spokane and down to the Pacific Palisades. My dad, Clint Eastwood Sr., went to work at the Standard Station at the corner of the Pacific Coast Highway and Sunset. He pumped gas.
Well shit. Well, you're still very close to your mother, Ruth, right, Clint Eastwood? Since we all know that your father, Clint Eastwood Sr., died in like 1970 or something, isn't that right? Yeah, may God rest his soul, but you know, you're close to your mommy, right?
She's in her early 90s. I see her or talk to her most every day.
Wow. Clint Eastwood's mother was in her 90s 23 years ago. He's in his 90s now. She's definitely dead. May God rest your soul too, Mother Eastwood. Didn't you get your love for music from your mother, Clint Eastwood?
She played a little piano. My dad played guitar and actually had a small group. My mother loved early jazz of the 20s and 30s. She was a big Fats Waller fan.
How does jazz influence your work, Clint Eastwood?
Probably the improvisational part of it.
You started acting in the Army in the early 1950s. You also started dating your soon-to-be first wife, Maggie Johnson, whom you were with for 26 years. They have 2 children together, in case you were wondering. Kyle, who's 32 at this time, he's a jazz musician or some shit, and Allison, who's 28 at this time. She's an actress. So Clint Eastwood, are you and Maggie Johnson still friends even though you're not married anymore?
Very much. And she and Dina are friends too. Maggie and I both probably changed a lot. I'm probably more mild and mellow, and she's a little more mellow. Everything is fine.
Well, that's good. Clint Eastwood and Maggie Johnson are on good terms. You keep close to Maggie and most of the other women from your past, including actress Frances Fisher, the lady from Titanic. She's the mother of your daughter, Francesca.
We took Franny, who's 7 now,
And Morgan, his 3-year-old with Ruse Eastwood,
to Sun Valley. They're half-sisters. They adore each other.
So you've healed most of your old wounds, Clint Eastwood, with your past relationships?
Depends on the circumstances. I certainly don't make any effort to end up on an antagonistic level.
Well, that's a big word, Clint Eastwood. I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear that and just go on to the next question. So Clint Eastwood, your first big break was the series Rawhide, in which you played Rowdy Yates. Did you like TV?
At the beginning it was exciting, and I was making $700 a week. I was a hog in heaven.
Sergio Leone, The Italian director watched episodes of Rawhide and cast you in your first spaghetti western, A Fistful of Dollars, which was shot in Europe.
It turned out to be a great experience, just like everything in life. The right place at the right time.
What did you learn from the great Sergio Leone? And please, embellish.
Well, that there are a lot of ways of doing things. Not necessarily the way we had done it on Rawhide, or even the way that John Ford and Howard Hawks had done it in American westerns.
Why didn't you stay in Europe then, Clint Eastwood? Shit!
It would have been easy to stay in Europe. Make a lot of dough, pick up a Swiss bank account, be a disenchanted American. But I came home and worked my way into things like Hang 'em High, Coogan's Bluff, Two Mules for Sister Sarah, The Beguiled, and then played Misty for Me.
Ah yeah, play Misty for Me. Your first shot at directing. How did that come about, Clint Eastwood?
I was talking to Lou Wasserman, the head of Universal at the time, and asked him to let me take a crack at it. Without blinking an eye, he said, fine. Turns out there was only one problem. They didn't want to pay me more than the minimum union rate. I said, that's fine. I should pay them. They should be cautious. So I got a percentage of the deal, and I made much more than I would have.
You went from star actor to star director, yet you managed to keep your private life pretty much private. Until the end of your 13-year relationship with actress Sandra Locke, who took her case to the press. Tell us about that shit.
I felt I couldn't defend myself. Otherwise you get into he said, she said. I could have gotten into horror stories, but why?
You didn't feel support from your fans at the time?
My biggest supporters in that whole deal were women, because women are much more distrustful of other women. Men get suckered in, but gals go, you're telling me this person went and had an abortion? Is someone not taking responsibility for the whole thing?
Locke claimed that Eastwood encouraged her to have 2 abortions, apparently. But I don't understand what you mean, says TV Guide.
I've never asked any woman to have an abortion. That was a pure lie.
How did that breakup in 1988 change your life?
You learn to do certain things differently. I ended up where I am now because I am so extremely happy that I ended up so well. Probably better than I deserved in life. With Dina, and I have healthy kids, I've got things that matter.
Were you wary when you fell in love with Dina, who's 35 years younger than you, you old pervert, you?
I don't think in those terms because, I don't.
How convenient for you.
We fell in love slowly. I thought she was extremely attractive and I liked her.
Well, yeah, she's many years younger than you.
I liked her before I loved her, which is good. I liked her self-sufficiency until she needed my old ass in her life. I admired her work ethic, and she never seemed to want anything. There were no career opportunities I could provide anyway. She seemed to like being with me, and I liked being with her.
And so you married her. Why the hell not?
This was somebody that I liked and then loved. I found those 2 elements together. And then respect. By maintaining respect for the person, you maintain self-respect. And that was easy to do with her. It was easy to maintain a monogamous relationship. Desire for others went out the window.
That's so Clint Eastwood. I wonder if he's still married to her now. Are you monogamous now?
Yeah, everything is focused on this one person and that relationship. I still notice other gals and that their cleavage is out there. Before I didn't want to be that faithful. Who knows why?
Clearly you weren't always faithful either to Maggie or other women in your life, Clint Eastwood, as history shows. Eastwood has a daughter, Kimber, now 36, and an actress, with actress Roxanne Tunis from his Rawhide days. He also has a son, Scott, 14, and a daughter, Catherine, 12, with Jason Reeves, a former flight attendant. Why did you go from one woman to another?
A lot of life isn't a plan. I don't advise people to do what I've done. It took me a lot longer to mature than most.
Did the womanizing have to do with fame, maybe?
Sometimes that was involved. All of a sudden, you're a movie star. Look at all these young actors that are out there now, all doing the same thing. These gals throwing themselves all over them. How do you tell them? Just keep your head. It's not human nature.
A lot of it is clearly wrapped up in stardom, in the image. Your portrayal of Dirty Harry Callahan did a lot to create your image. So fess up, are you a tough guy like Dirty Harry, or just a withered old man?
I'm 70. It's silly to go around trying to be a tough guy. When I was younger, I could take care of myself within reason.
You may be 70, Clint Eastwood, but you just directed and starred in Space Cowboys. How long do you see yourself doing this shit?
I like directing. I can see the day when I decide I won't act anymore. But John Huston, during his last movie, The Dead, was directing in a wheelchair with oxygen tanks. Director Raoul Walsh could do it with a big eye patch over his eye. So it can be done. But as an actor, there will come a day when you look at yourself on the screen and say, I don't know about this.
But you haven't reached that point yet? Really? I mean, you're not exactly the good, the bad, and the ugly anymore.
Close.
Have you ever felt pressure to have plastic surgery to look young again?
Never. If you do plastic surgery, you try to be something you absolutely are not. I feel when that day comes, it's just time to get behind the camera with an eye patch.
Amen, Clint Eastwood. I totally agree with you on that one. And that's it. That is the whole interview that Clint Eastwood gave with TV Guide. I hope you enjoyed that. Kitty did, right? You like that? You like that interview? You're just gonna look at me like that no matter what, Cat. Don't be a snob about it. Clint Eastwood is a human being too, Cat, alright? And that was him 23 years ago, okay? He's still alive now at 93. Wonder if he's still married to that lady. I don't know. Alright, Kitty. That's it for now. Until next time, Kitty and I going to bed. Hope you've enjoyed this article from TV Guide, an interview with Clint Eastwood. Yeah, I got plenty more of these. I used to save them back in the 90s. Good night, everybody. Stay there, Cat. You guard the chair.